Hello, Scripting Sense here. This is a tutorial on hierarchy and properties. I'm assuming you have some background knowledge of Roblox Studio. If you don't know what these tabs are here, I'll leave a link in the description to show you how to open them. You're probably familiar with these icons here. These are containers that hold objects specific to Roblox game development. For example, the workspace can hold parts that are 3D and visible in the game. So if I were to highlight this part here, you'll see it's under the workspace container. As well, the players container holds non-3D parts of players. So if I were to hit play, you'll see that I have a player 1 in the workspace that's visible. But as well, non-3D information about that player is in the players container. This sets up a hierarchy in the Explorer tab that's visual. So here you can see all the objects are children to workspace, where workspace is the parent of all these objects. Although you can't see it under the Explorer tab, all these containers here are a part of the game. You can almost imagine a label here, game, that houses all these containers. Game is a parent to all these containers, while all these containers are children of game. Additionally, for example, brick 1 is a child of workspace, which is a child of game, and game is the parent of workspace, which is the parent of baseplate or brick 1 or spawn location. You probably have some experience editing properties, so if you highlight brick 1 and go to the properties tab, you can see all the attributes and characteristics down here. If I go to transparency and set it to 0.5, you can see that I've changed the characteristics or the transparency of this brick. When I go to change the transparency of this brick, I go to transparency and specifically set it equal to 0.5. And I'll show you how to change that with a script. So let's go to the workspace and insert a script through the Advanced Objects tab. I'm going to delete the print hello world. So the first thing you should know about scripting is that the script only knows where itself and the game is. So game and script. Note that these are lowercase and these are to reference the script or the game. If I wanted to move down the hierarchy to reference brick 1, I would have to go through the game or the script. To do this through the game, I can say game, and in order to transition through the hierarchy, you have to say dot or period. So game dot workspace, because workspace is a child of game, dot brick 1. This is almost telling the script to metaphorically highlight brick 1, as I did when I changed the transparency of it manually. Whenever you're moving up the hierarchy instead of down, you always say dot parent. For example, brick 2's parent is workspace, so brick 2 dot parent is workspace. And similarly, brick 2 dot parent is game. So script dot parent dot brick 1 is to reference brick 1 through the script. So script and then the parent and then brick 1. Whenever you're changing a property through a script, the basic way you can do it is object.property equals value. So for example, brick 1 dot transparency, which is the property, equals the value. However, we need to get to brick 1 first, or reference it through game and script, because the script doesn't know where brick 1 is. If I typed in brick 1 dot transparency equals 0.5, the script would crash because it doesn't know what brick 1 is unless we define it. So this is more of path to brick 1. And then in line 6 should be path to object dot property equals a value. So here I have already referenced the brick 1. So game dot workspace dot brick 1, we can say dot transparency equals 0.5. Also, the property can collide, which makes objects fall throughable if it's unchecked. I can change that through the script with a true or false value. So a check value is like true, and a unchecked value is like false. So game.workspace.brick1.canCollide equals false. Note that I can also do this by referencing the script first instead of game. So script.parent.brick1.canCollide equals false. So you can see the canCollide property is checked, so it should be not fall throughable at the start, but the script will change that. So watch how this changes, and I'll actually add a wait 1 to delay it so you can see it happening. This is outside the scope of the video, but whenever you have a wait in parentheses and then a specific amount of time within the parentheses, this is a method, and I'll address that in a later video. For now, just assume wait and a certain amount of time in the parentheses makes the script wait that amount of time. So wait 1 or wait 5. And you'll see in 5 seconds this will change. So you can see I could fall through that after the 5th second. So how can we use what we learned to make a script that's applicable for a game? Here you can see I have an obstacle course example. I want the first 2 bricks to be visible while the rest are not. This will form a platform of the first 2 bricks that I want to move down through the obstacle course. In order to do this, the first brick, after becoming visible, is going to have to become invisible, and then the 3rd brick will have to appear, so on and so forth down the line. The first thing I'm going to do is take the bricks 1 through 8, visible here on the Workspace tab, and set their transparency to 1, and make it so canCollide is false. I'm going to go into the script, and the first thing I'm going to do in the script is make brick 1's transparency equal to 0. So game.workspace.brick1.transparency equals 0. I'm going to copy and paste this for brick 2. And then I can take this, or take the paths to the bricks, and use it to change their canCollide properties, which have to be true so we cannot fall through them. I'm going to put a wait 1 here, so the effects of the script don't happen almost instantaneously. Now we have to tell the script to wait another second, so we can change the platform to be of the 2nd and 3rd bricks. We also have to get the first brick to disappear. So transparency will be 1, and then it'll be fall throughable, so canCollide equals false. And then I have to get the 3rd brick to appear. So for the 3rd brick, its canCollide will become true, like it already was. And then its transparency will have to become 0, so it's visible. Here you can see I didn't copy all of it. And then I'll put a wait 1 for the next part. So if I run this, the first 2 bricks will appear, and then this 3rd brick will appear as the first one disappears. Now we have to make it so the 2nd brick disappears, and the 4th brick appears. So brick 2's transparency will be 1, and its canCollide will be false. And then brick 4 will appear. So I'm going to copy and paste this and repeat the process for the rest of the bricks. So let's run this. just as expected, the bricks are moving down the line. Now I'm going to get the last 2 bricks to disappear. So 7 and 8 are still visible. So I make their transparencies blonde and can collide to false. I'm actually going to test this in person. It disappears. I can probably put a wait timer to make brick 7 disappear first, and then brick 8 to make it more fluid. I'll do the same with brick 1 and brick 2 when they appear. So now we have a problem because this only runs once. If I wanted it to run again, I would have to take the script and I would have to hit disabled and enable again. This is because the script is disabled while the game is not running, but once you start the game, it becomes enabled. Hitting disabled and enabled again would almost refresh the script like you refresh your browser. Note that bricks 1 through 8 have to have the same properties as when the script starts and ends. For other lessons, I would generally say while true do, and at the end I would say end. And this would just make it repeat. So if you want to do a basic loop, that's how you would do it. But because I haven't covered while yet, what we can do is we can disable the script from the start. So this may seem a little counterintuitive, but I'll show you why it works. So the first thing I do is script.disabled is true, which will make the script disabled from the beginning of the game. Then script.disabled equals false. So what this does is it disables the script as soon as the game starts. However, when you disable a script, any code that's not running within a function continues to run. So you may not know what a function is, but when a script is disabled, any code that's running within a function stops. Our code will keep running as it is not in a function, allowing the script to enable itself, cycling over and over again. Now let's test our script. And this would continue to run being a functional obstacle course. Thank you guys for watching. If this helped you, please consider joining the Roblox group Scripting Sense or subscribing.